Imagine this. You are standing in a kitchen, sipping a tea, staring out of the window at the garden you have nurtured for years. You have just accepted an offer, owned your home, a tidy profit well above what you paid for your house. You feel proud, excited, and ready for your next chapter. And then an HMRC letter arrives. They want a slice, they want their cut, a big one, a capital gain tax. Suddenly, that gain, that proud, that excitement become less, and it feels like a more kind of penalized. But what if I told you there are ways that can help you to reduce your tax liability, and which will definitely help you maybe to eliminate all of your CGT liability? And in this video, we are going to talk about that. Let's dive in. So if you are selling a UK property, especially ones you have lived in, there are smart legal ways to reduce your capital gain tax. And today I will walk you through the most powerful ones step by step. Before this video, I published a video on how to reduce capital gain tax, which were mainly based on shares and chattels. Most of points explained here will be same, but there are few points here and there which are only available in a UK property case. Let's start with a big one: private residence relief. Have you heard of private resident relief? It's HMRC ways of saying if this was your genuine home, we won't tax your gain. Like for example, if you lived in, let's say, for 10 years, 15 years in the home, then the HMRC rule is like they're not going to charge a tax on that gain because that property was your main residence. So now when you're selling your main residence, so most likely you are going to buy another home as a kind of a main residence. So HMRC don't tax you on that gain. So if you are planning to sell a property which was your main residence, so this is one of the kind of a most efficient way to reduce your tax bill to nil. But obviously this can only be happen when you know about it, or if you contact one of the senior accountants which they know about the rules around this, then only you can reduce your tax bill. But what if you own a property for 20 years and then you live in that property only for 10 years, and then for rest of the 10 years you let it out? So there are many other cases in which they have the same situation, but there are other ways to reduce your tax liability. So let's explore those cases now. You can use your CGT allowance, which sometimes refers to as annual exemption. So in current year 24-25 tax year, the annual exemption is £3,000, which you can deduct against your property capital gain of whatever the amount is, and then less annual exemption, and then it will arrive your taxable gain. But the only issue with capital gain exemption is like if you don't use it, you lose it, which means like you cannot roll over from one year to another year. The other one is you can use your losses. Let's say you have a shares portfolio and then you have a property. On the shares portfolio, let's say you sold a shares for £20,000 and cost of those shares were roughly £27,000, and then you made a loss of £7,000. Then that £7,000 from your shares selling can be used against your property gain. Let's say your property gain is £150,000. £150,000 minus £7,000 minus your annual exemption of £3,000 will give you a net chargeable gain of 140,000. So this gain will be then charged on your prevailing tax day. So of course, like if you have any kind of losses, that can be used against your capital gain of your property selling. But obviously this kind of loss you can only use it when you know it or your accountant knows about it. And then if you have any questions around this area, or if you are in the same position, then reach out to me, and then definitely I will be able to help you on this kind of scenario, and then we will figure it out together. Last year, one of our client, he owns a property worth roughly $500,000. Then I asked him like, how about your wife? And then he was telling me like his wife is like working, but the earning in a like kind of very basic earnings. Then I asked him like, why you kind of add your partner on your property? This will help you to kind of reduce your capital gain tax liability in future. What we did is like on his property we add a joint owner of his wife acquire 50-50 shares. Now what will happen, like his wife is a basic tax rate payer and he is a higher tax rate payer. On the basic tax rate payer, the tax rate is 18% on a residential selling property, and on a higher tax rate or additional tax rate payer is 18%. So this 6% definitely will help him to reduce the tax liability. Plus with the 50% is like he is going to use 3,000 of his annual exemption, plus the wife, she is going to use his 3,000 of annual exemptions, which will help them to reduce the overall CGT tax liability, if that makes sense. However, if you have any questions, please do not try to put that into a comment section, and then I will come back to you on this. And of course, understanding your income tax position for CGT is essential, because for, like I discussed above, like if you are earning within the basic tax rate band, then the CGT tax rate is 18%, and for higher and additional taxpayers, the CGT rate is for 24%. And of course, like if you are sharing a property with your spouse, then it means like you're also using personal allowance for yourself, annual exemption for yourself, personal allowance for your wife, and then annual exemption for your wife as well. So it will like kind of a mix and match position, and then will help you to reduce your overall tax liability. And of course, like on top of this, private residence relief is a key if you're selling your residential property. And like I said earlier, if you have any questions around capital gain taxes, we are kind of a professionals to help a lot of clients on these kind of positions every single day. So please reach out to me, drop a comment below, or drop a line on my LinkedIn profile, and definitely I will get back to you. As always, like please do not try to share it with other family members or colleagues, and of course do not forget to subscribe and like. As always, hand ahead salute until the next video.